Amazing atmosphere here. Fantastic. Watching Rolf and seeing him reach the heights in 1983 into the European Cup in 1984, you really were saying this man should be playing for Scotland and regularly. Us as football fans didn't see what was going on behind the scenes. Rolf maybe had personal problems which we didn't know about, but Rolf really should have been up there with the best of them. He was, but he should have been getting capped for Scotland. There's no doubt about that.
I wasn't getting a game, but I was getting brought in for the European games and then getting left out for the domestic games, and it just got to a stage where I thought, well, I've had enough of this. I need to get out of here. I didn't want to leave, but I just knew for my own sake I had to get out, you know. And eventually they sold me to Charlton. I didn't enjoy Charlton at all. It was a total different setup, and I mean, I'm not knocking the club or anybody there, but I just didn't enjoy it, and I just wanted out. So I was there for a year, and then I went to Bristol City on loan, and I scored a 20-yard volley on my debut, and Terry Cooper said, I want to sign you. And I said, well, sign me now. I said, because I've got to get out of there, I hate it down there. And after a month's loan was up, Terry Cooper got the sack, and Big Joe got the job. And so the reason I went down to Bristol City was because I thought Joe was playing. The following season, I got a good pre-season in me, and I started playing well for Bristol City. And then Aberdeen were interested. Well, there was a few clubs interested, but I knew Aberdeen were interested, and I wanted to come back to Scotland because my son was here, etc., and my family. When the Aberdeen interest came in, when we were up in the lounge for lunch, there was a piano, and I used to play the Northern Lights of Old Aberdeen. You know, when Joe's coming up the stairs, you know, Big Joe's glaring at me, and Scott's laughing, and in the end, Joe pulled me in on the Thursday morning. I knew there was something going on, and he said, there's nobody leaving this club. He said, but in your circumstances, I'm prepared to let you go. He said, but it's not Aberdeen. No, giving it that, like, I've heard you playing the piano sort of thing, you know. And I'm like, oh, could be anybody, you know. Could be Scunthorpe or something, you know. He said, it's not Aberdeen. He said, it's Man United. I said, wait a minute, is he winding me up, Joe? He said, no, he said, you've got to phone, speak to Fergie now. So the phone went, bang on 12 o'clock it was. Fergie comes on the phone, how you doing, son, huh? Fine now, good now. He said, you're playing well now, huh? I said, I'm getting alright now, quite fit and still bad now. He said, what do you think, do you fancy it? I said, well, I can't really say no, can I? He says, right, get yourself up here. He said, I'll wait at the club for you. He was playing for Bristol City and doing very well for Bristol City. Archie Knox and I were sitting one day and saying, I wonder what he'd cost if we could get him for a song. It wouldn't be that one. And we phoned him up and they were looking for 170,000, which, you know, in today's terms is very small, but at that time we said, yeah, 170,000 seems fair, we'll go ahead. And I got to the stadium at 5:30. Fergie's there and he said, right, come on, he said, you need to come with me. I've got a dinner at 7:30, you need to come back to the house with me, I've got to get my dinner suit on, blah, blah, blah. So we went in to his house, and I was just like that, you know, looking at his NBE, his OBE, you know, all the stuff he's got, you know, and it's quite spectacular. And I wasn't really listening to him. And he said, go and have a game of snooker with Darren. So we played snooker, and then he says, right, come into the lounge. And he said, right, this is the way it's going to be, Rolf. So I'm still going like that, you know. So he's well on the way, you know. And he's not blaring away, but he's telling me what's going to happen. But I'm not really hearing it. I'm just like, I'm kind of awestruck, you know. I'm looking at all the photos and everything. And I went like that sort of thing, right, he's out there saying it. And he says, no. So he said, what do you want to do? You can stay here tonight if you want, or you can go to the hotel. Mal Donaghy's in the hotel. So I thought, well, it looks like if you stay at the manager's house, it's like a teacher's pet straight away sort of thing. I said, I'd rather go to the hotel. I couldn't even remember what he'd said about my contract and I said, just right there, I'd just signed it. I mean, I would have played in the goal, I would have done anything, I would have swept the terrace in for him, you know. But then you walk into the press. Now, I'd dealt with the press before, but the media at Old Trafford's quite intense, you know, and you get up with all these people asking all these questions, you know. And the main focal point was, how could Fergie bring somebody from the 3rd division to the 1st division for 170 grand, or 100, well, it was 170 grand. And so that highlighted the media questions straight away about my capabilities.
It wasn't like he spent 10 million on him.
Sure.
I saw him score a few goals down at Old Trafford, play a few good games, so it wasn't like it was a disaster. But we knew that probably we'd seen the best in Milne.
I think absolutely.
I think Fergie tried to use him in a slightly different role, but deeper, playing on a 4 as opposed to playing as a
Fergie knew how much he
winger.
could tormented him with that back beam.
And yeah,
So he wouldn't have been at Man
That's
United.
it,
so Fergie's thinking, well, give it a punt and see if I can reignite the spark. But as far as we're concerned, well, I'm concerned he's played for the 2 greatest clubs in the world, and I would have that CV any day.
My first goal was against Charlton, which was quite ironic because my debut was against Man United. And all the Charlton fans were behind the, not the Stretford end, the other end, giving me stick. And I caught this volley about 20 yards out. I took a deflection, but it was going in anyway. And I was like, yeah, get out your Charlton. I hated that place anyway, you know. And when we got to Boxing Day, we played Forest, and I scored against Forest. And we were second top of the league. And then we went into the Liverpool game New Year's Day, and we pummeled them, and we went 1-0 down. And it was worst case scenario, but for them, not for us, because I think Brian O'Clair scored the equaliser or Sparky, and we beat them 3-1. And that was probably the best game I ever played for Man United. But the next day we had to play at Middlesbrough at 12 o'clock the next day, and everybody was knackered. We had to travel as well, and we were poor, and we got beat 1-0. And then it just all went wrong from there. We went from second top of the league. We finished up 11th, I think, in the league. And that's when the pressure was coming on, you know. And it was kind of one of these ones, you know, at the end of the season, right, let's see what happens next season. But it was quite obvious. The manager had a lot of work to do. And so he signed quite a few players that summer. And then I knew then, I'm only going to be a fringe player now.
You hear